Good morning. In today's session, I'm going to show you how you can combine kettlebells and yoga to increase your strength and flexibility. We're going to start off with a couple sun salutations. Actually, we're going to start off with 3 sun salutations. And in each one, I'm going to offer a modification. So let's start at the top of your mat. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale and fold. Come to a flat back. Bend the knees, plant the hands, and step back into a plank. Here's the first modification. Drop the knees down. Squeeze the glutes and keep the core tight as you lower down to the floor in one piece from your knees to your chest. Uncurl the toes, roll the shoulders up and back, and come into a baby cobra. Keep the back of the neck long, hug the elbows in, and then release the chin to the floor. Curl the toes under, squeeze the glutes, and press back up into a half push-up. Lift the knees, come back into a plank, and then send the hips up and back into down dog. So if this is your first down dog of the day, pedal your feet a little bit to warm up your calves and your hamstrings. And then find some stillness in your down dog. Release your head completely. Send your inner upper arms towards the ceiling and the outer edges of your armpits down. And on the bottom of your next exhalation, step the feet forward. Come to a flat back. Fold. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands to prayer. Here is the second variation. Circle the arms up, dive forward. Come to a flat back. Bend the knees, plant the hands, and step back into a plank. Keep the glutes tight and lower all the way to the floor in one piece. Uncurl the toes and press your arms straight coming into cobra. Take the outer shoulders back and then release down. Curl the toes under and in one piece, press right back up into a plank. Take the hips back and come into down dog. Take your biceps forward. Take your triceps back. Press the tops of the legs back. And extend from the backs of the knees to the heels. And then step forward. Come up to a flat back. Lengthen the spine and fold. Circle the arms up. And then hands come to prayer. In this third variation, we're going to do chaturanga and upward facing dog. Reach the arms up, fold forward, come up halfway, bend the knees, step back into plank, shift forward on your tippy toes, and lower halfway down to chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Pull the outer shoulders back. Legs are lifting, hips are descending. And pull back to downward facing dog. Drop the knees and come into child's pose. And then slowly come up. So we are going to come into a half kneeling halo using our first kettlebell. So I'm going to show you from the front and from the side. You're going to take one foot forward, so you're in a half kneeling position. If you need a little bit of padding under your knee, you can roll your mat up, just like this, for a little bit of extra padding. You want to make sure your core is braced. And in order to do that, you're going to squeeze the glute of the knee that's down. And that's going to help you activate and get a nice stretch through your hip flexor and through your quad. So from the side, what's going to happen oftentimes is we're in this half kneeling position, we arch in our low back. As we squeeze the glute of the knee that's down, then we start to lengthen the lower back. We also want you to think about lifting our hip flexors up. That's another way to think about it. So take one foot forward, other knee is down. Squeeze the glute of the right bum. And take your kettlebell upside down. Core is braced. And then circle the kettlebell around your head. I recommend doing 3 to 5 in each direction. So you want to make sure that you're not kind of shifting around. If you start to find that your torso is moving, it means your glutes are not tight. Maybe the bell is a little too heavy. But you want to make sure that someone can punch you in the gut and you're not going to move. All right, so I'm going to keep this bell on hand. And I'm going to come to a seated position. And I'm going to extend my legs into a V. We're going to move into Upavishtakonasana, our wide angle forward fold. So I like to rotate my inner thighs down in this position. That way I'm seated evenly on my sits bones. Now if you have a tendency to round in your lower back, this is where you can elevate your sits bones. You can sit on a blanket. And what you're going to do is you're going to make sure your knees are pointing straight up towards the ceiling. And then bring your hands beside your hips, press down into your hands. And this may be plenty of a stretch for you, and that's fine. You stay right here. If you need a little bit more or want to come forward, you're going to take your hands to the kettlebell, to the handles of the kettlebell. And you are going to, instead of rounding like this, you're going to use the kettlebell as leverage to pull your chest forward. Lift your sternum up and maintain a flat back. And I would suggest holding this here for about 30 seconds to a minute. Resting, and you can do that multiple times. Now we're going to combine a kettlebell movement in this position. We are going to do a V-sit press. So I'm going to take my kettlebell position. Rack position. My knuckles are over my wrist. This is a neutral position. You do not want your knuckles to fall towards your forearm. I'm going to extend one arm, make a fist. And then as I inhale, I'm going to punch the ceiling, keeping my upper arm in line with my ear. And then with control, pull it down. Loosen my grip a little bit, and then exhale, punch the ceiling, and then slowly lower it down. Just like in my halos, I want to keep my torso tight. So I don't want to be swaying one way or the other. I want to keep it super tight as I'm punching the ceiling. No movement. And I would recommend doing 5 to 8 of these. You can start with 3 sets and work up to 5. And I hope you have enjoyed this introduction to combining kettlebells and yoga. And I look forward to seeing more of you.